This was the most absurd exploit of all time. So about 8 years ago, when League of Legends had been around for 4 or 5 years, but it was still really in its formative times, there was an exploit that allowed champions with certain abilities to cast those abilities on other players. Now, that doesn't really sound all that broken at first glance, but these were abilities that were never ever meant to be cast on allies, usually abilities that caused a switch state between casts. Abilities like Jax's Counter-Strike, which starts casting on E, but can be casted again early to stun the enemy, or Sion's W, which creates your shield, but then can be cast again to explode early, or the most prolific one was Ashe's Q, which back then was a toggle between regular auto attacks and auto attacks that slowed for a small amount of mana. So what could you do with it? Well, as you're seeing on the screen, what ended up being possible was Jax could use an exploit that essentially made Vayne constantly cast Jax's Counter-Strike for the entire game, stun and all. As you can imagine, even if you're not an AD main, this is absolutely unplayable. Even though it's a spellcaster like Corki, suddenly every single auto attack is useless. Suddenly every auto attack actually makes Vayne stronger. Leona cannot use your Q. It was just a massive problem. This terrorized solo queue for a very short period of time, ending up in some really high elo massive streams back then, and then eventually the exploit was fixed. But we'll never forget Jane, or Vax, the unstoppable bot laner. Do you remember this though? I think stuff like this, whilst being incredibly scummy for people to actually use, is actually really fascinating to learn about how people break things like this. If you want me to dig into the archives for more times people broke, hacked, exploited League of Legends, then please give this video a like, and I'll do some more, because as dark as it is, it's still a part of this game's history, and it kind of deserves to be preserved. I'm not going to ask you for much more, except let's compete in rock, paper, scissors, and if I win, you have to subscribe to the channel as well, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Well, if I won, welcome to the channel. Check out our clothing line down below as well. You can sign up to the Cowboy Bebop official anime collaboration that we're doing with my clothing line Psycho Paro down below as well, and have a wonderful day.